Greetings, everyone. My name is Asha Sekhmet, and I am an oracle, spiritual educator, female leader, and fashion designer. And today we're going to talk about embracing death. So, the society that we live in today is very backwards, upside down, and turned around, right? But we're experiencing a death of that society and a birth of a new one. So, what I want to talk today about is one of the contributing factors to why humanity is not ascending right now is because of the predisposition humans have towards death. They are taught to fear death. And this is a really deep concept that we need to understand. Now, first, I'm just going to list, a couple of things that's really important to know. You identify truth for what truth means to you. It's not truth until you identify what truth is for you. So everything that I am saying, that I am going to say, meditate on it and identify what resonates with you, okay? So there is life after death. Reincarnation is real. You go through life cycles. Earth is a school. You come here to learn something. It's about the evolution of your soul, okay? The more material possessions or more material your life is by the end of your death, the uglier your death is. And we're going to talk deeper about what that means. This really comes from the Grand Trine life system. This is the life system that I talk about on my platform. We have a Grand Trine tribe, community, and really understanding about the Grand Trine life system is to truly embody and walk a path to becoming your highest and greatest self. You are not so consumed with the world and material possessions, and you grow and you grow your soul and you become closer to who you actually are. So when you transition, you experience the natural cycles you're supposed to do here on earth, okay? So in the Emerald's tablet, by these are the words of Tahuti, and he was searching for a divine truth on this experience, on this plane in the physical reality on Earth. Okay, so I'm going to read this passage here, and then we're going to like kind of digest the importance of what I'm talking about and why this is so important. Okay, because again, you have to remember there is life after death. How you live your life matters. That's so important. Okay. Energy is not created nor destroyed. You're transitioning, and everything that you do has consequences or rewards, right? So you collect as an experience here on earth karma, right? Good karma and bad karma. This is so important, right? And humans are taught to fear death, and this is so detrimental to your growth, okay? And this comes from ancient Egyptian teachings and wisdom as well. This was one of the highest civilizations that existed on earth, okay? So, to the ignorant, the body is supreme. What do we exist in today? Especially for women in the fashion industry, and it teaches women to only look at their beauty externally. So bad for your femininity. I mean, femininity and your spirituality. That is just, so we're going to get into that. And they are incapable of realizing the immortality that is within them. Okay. Knowing only the body, which is subject to death, they believe in death because they worship that substance, which is the cause and reality of death. So, death is inevitable, right? We're going to experience that. So imagine the paradox and the psychology behind a human. You live a life, and then we're taught, YOLO, you only live once, which is not true. You go through incarnations. That's the whole purpose of reproducing in kids. You reproducing yourself. That's reincarnation. you know. So it's just like we have to look at it from the perspective of this, that the reality of death itself, you focus and fear death so much, that which is inevitable to happen, that you become mortal. It holds you down to a very low vibration, right? So, and then we have to talk about the consequences of worshiping the physical world and material possessions. So, the physical world and material possessions, being so consumed by it, caring about the status quo, caring about what other humans think about you. The ego gets in, greed. We're going to talk about this deeper too, but that is really what causes you to be mortal. And then you die, and then you go through it again because you didn't learn your lesson, your human lesson. You're supposed to learn lessons. The spirit tests you. It's going to be challenging, right? And then, that's why I said it, like, you become so focused on a material world by the end of your death. It's it's very ugly, right? Because your world is so material, and you didn't do any inner work on who you are, healing, developing naturally, a lot of, and then making a contribution to society that helps the overall collective of humanity progressing, right? So, in order to do that, to become truly immortal, you have to go within, because within you is God. God is not external, God is internal. So, you can access God anytime, right? This is, why we live in such an external world, because they don't want you to realize, and then this is another thing too. They want to keep your mind on politics, entertainment, problems, man-made problems in the world that they created to produce fear, and then to keep your mind focused outside of yourself, right? They do all this stuff with alien UFOs, all this stuff, right? Because the true alien is you, because you have access. The whole point of the human experience is that you can become like God on earth. You're accessing that part of you that is alien to earth, right? Alien to humanness, right? Humanness is just a consciousness, right? And so we have to understand that that's the whole point, is to become closer to the creator. You find the God in you, right? So to give a different perspective too as well about aliens, they make us also fear. This is the Western parasite mind. It's a parasitic mind. These are low vibration entities that can only attach to human energy that exists on this low frequency of fear and material possession, not finding the God in themselves, the alien in themselves. So the perspective of aliens, right? They want you to look at aliens like, in the movies, it is psychological warfare, right? They always want to show that the aliens are here to hurt you and do all this stuff, and that there's constant war, right? And even the thought process behind an alien, that an alien is something that exists outside of you. That is not true. You come from the creator. We all come from the creator. The light is within us. The creator is not human. So by that alone, you have to think of it from that perspective. And then all other life beings that are not human, like a tree, for instance, a tree is not human, but it comes from the creator. We all exist. Just like from the Grand Trine Life System, we talk about this. It's like, if God is the ocean, we're like the droplet. So the concept of an alien it really does injustice to what the creator and the creation really is. We all exist as one. An alien, a life form that is, not human, is not technically outside of you, because it's within creation. Okay. So there's nothing to fear about that, right? But the human mind, as default, it wants to know, but you have to connect to your godlike nature. Humans have an animal-like nature and a godlike nature. They want to continue to hold you down to your animal-like nature so these lower vibrational entities can exist, right? We're supposed to be their master, right? We're not supposed to be their slave, right? So you have to think about it from that perspective. We need to connect to our godlike nature. There's nothing to fear about something that you technically don't understand, an unknown, or something that is different from what you are. We're taught to fear something that's different from us. That's a Western parasitic mind. You fear something that is different from you. Just because you don't know it, you don't know what it is. That does an injustice to becoming like God, right? God itself, the creator, is unknowing. And to accept becoming a part of that, a part of you have to embrace the unknown as well. Okay. So I also want to talk about in the Emerald's tablet, where they also mention these, where they go over the seven virtues of the seven deadly sins and the seven virtues. So let's talk about the seven deadly sins. So that would be pride, luxury, envy, gluttony, which is, having an extravagant indulgence of appetite, right? Constantly wanting more, entitlement, you know. And it's crazy because I look at the seven deadly sins and I'm like, this is all you see on media. This is all you see humans do. And it's crazy. Idleness. So laziness, indolence, wrath, extreme anger, avarice, extreme greed for wealth or material gain. That is what social media is. You're not connecting with your godlike nature. If you're chasing fake money, digitalized currency, it's not real. It's not real. You're chasing fake money. This, like, you worship something that is not of real value. Paper and digital digits on a screen, digitalized currency, that's not real. you know so now let's look at the seven virtues: faith, hope, charity, strength, temperance, justice, and prudence, right? So now we're talking about the divine, connecting with your higher self, right? That's becoming like God on earth. You are your own miniature God. You are your own sovereign being. You know, you you don't need a savior. You save yourself. You don't need to worship something. God is within you. You just access it. Okay. So in the end, how is all of this measured, right? How is all of this measured that we're talking about, going through the human experience and overcoming the temptation of the lower nature and ascending to this godlike nature? How is that measured? It is the weighing of the heart. Okay. So again, this is coming from the Grand Trine Life System. We do heart work, and this is one of my favorite meditation practices that we do, and spiritual practices. I do this daily. It is the weighing of the heart. So every day is your judgment day, right? So your feelings towards the opposite sex, that's in your heart. You can look in your camera and smile all day and say, I love men, but the heart doesn't lie. Okay. What is the relationship like with your father? How is the relationships in your past? You don't just get over that, right? You have to do inner work, right? And you need a man to heal you if a man hurts you as well. Okay. So you strive to live your life focused on the heart, and ultimately the goal is to have your heart to be as light as a feather. If your heart was on a scale and a feather was there, would your heart be as light as a feather? That is the ultimate test. Okay. And when you do things in life, when you are tested towards worldly things or something that will help you grow spiritually that requires sacrifice, what do you choose? When you choose more of the material, physical, worldly things, it weighs on the heart because the spirit knows you have a purpose. We all have a purpose. Your spirit knows when you're living out of alignment with who you actually are, and it's going to weigh on the heart. Okay. And then you repeat lessons until you get it. Earth is a school. That's the whole purpose. You repeat lessons until you get it. You came here to learn, to ascend the evolution of your soul. And so, something for myself that I tell myself, that we live in this world where there's a lot of opinions, a lot of speech. People, have a lot that we say when we feel, and opinions, difference in, ideologies. That is a beautiful thing. Embrace difference. Difference is good. You should think different than me. That is beautiful. It is a beauty to the nature of difference. Humans also have been taught that anything different outside of you is bad or against you, and that's such a injustice to what the human experience is. That's why there's variations of races. We're not supposed to be different. We're supposed to have difference of diet, difference of culture, different variations of faith, and how we choose to become closer to the creator. That is a beautiful thing. That is why the creator made it variations of races, faith, biology, biochemistry. There is a difference. There needs to be, because even from a very scientific level, that is how that is a natural phenomena in nature. You can go and observe it. You need genetic variation for life to exist. It is the same concept from a spiritual perspective for humans. There needs to be a difference where this fallacy of the one human race thing is just such an injustice. We're supposed to have variations of cultures, variations of races, and we're not supposed to be the same. There are boundaries in cultures. I represent the cultural ethnic group of Black Americans. There is a variation in what that will look like. Okay. So there's a lot of things that we have been taught that we have to go back and reassess, and we question, and you identify for truth for yourself, because you are a God.